Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us for our first webinar of all of our 15th annual Organic Week. My name is Tia Loftsgard, and I am the Executive Director here at the Canada Organic Trade Association. We are proudly located in Ottawa, the location of the Anishinaabe Algonquin peoples in their unceded territory. And we are kicking off this celebration of Organic Week 2023 with our first webinar, which today I will be delivering on behalf of the organic sector. Of course, we cannot go ahead without doing an acknowledgement to our sponsors that make this event nationwide happen with our variety of different activities. So just to do a shout out to Lancet, Yorkshire Valley, Fennings Farms, Patience, Fruit and Company, and Nature's Path, as well as many of our other sponsors. And this is an event that has been co-organized between the Canada Organic Trade Association and the Canadian Organic Growers for the last 15 years. So great success that we've had in being able to build up the organic community and continue to celebrate all of our wonderful successes. So today's webinar is going to focus on how to thrive in the organic market and unveiling some of our new Canadian organic data and insights that we have to be able to share with you today. And again, just to make sure that we are acknowledging all of our wonderful sponsors. We've got many wonderful companies that are participating in many different ways. So just to make sure that you do visit our Organic Week website, which is organicweek.ca, and check out all the events that will be happening between now, September 18th, straight through until September 24th. And really, it's going all month. We've had retailers with products on display, different webinars, different conferences, different activities happening across the country. So I'm sure you'll see a variety of different activities happening. And please make sure that you check out our YouTube page at the Canada Organic Trade Association for a variety of all the webinars that will be broadcast on there for the long term as well, including this one. So let's delve into this year's unveiling of the statistics. Of course, we have to let the year pass by to get the production data as well as the sales data. So most of these areas we will be focused on. We'll be presenting the 2022 data for you today. So the great news is this organic market continues to grow. And you can see that now we are at $10.26 billion in annual sales. And of that, around 77% of that total number is food and beverage, which is valued at $7.94 billion. So really, the $7.94 billion is the regulated organic marketplace, since the Canadian organic regime only covers food and beverage products. And in addition to that, we have cotton, we have pet food, we have cosmetics and body care. We have a variety of natural health products that are not included in the regulated scheme, but that, of course, are certified organic and are taken into consideration in this number. Also, just to highlight that the market share in different product categories continues to grow over time. So now we see that in all of sales in Canada, 6.2% is the market share for produce. Meat is climbing up to 0.7% of all meat sold, and packaged food is now at 2.9% market share. Now, this is exciting stuff. Now, it is based off of the 2022 data. We will be doing a new organic market report, which we plan to launch in January. That will give us more of the 2023 statistics on sales. So stay tuned. That will be data that is available for free for our Canada Organic Trade Association members and at a price point for our non-members. So stay tuned for that. Let's take a look at where we've come from in the last 3 years. Despite coming out of a pandemic, you can see that the market continues to grow. So we were at 8.13 billion in 2020, now climbed to 10.26 billion. And you can see, of course, we're slowing down a bit as we get into some of the higher numbers. But we, in the middle of the pandemic, we were at a 27% growth rate, 15% in 2021, and now we're at a 9%. So still great news for anybody involved in the industry. And of course, consumers are showing that demand. Just to highlight that we are the 5th largest consumer market. That number sometimes goes down to 6th largest in the world, depending on what other territories in the world are doing. But we've been holding the 5th largest consumer market claim for at least this is the 2nd year running now. And just to highlight that, we do have the 9th largest per capita spend globally. As mentioned, we are going to be doing the new market report come January. So the numbers I'm presenting on the side of the screen, which is talking about the average spend of Canadians on organic grocery on a weekly basis, these numbers will all get updated at that point in time. As we know, organic market is nothing without public trust. So this is a big part of what we're trying to achieve, continuing to educate consumers about what the organic claim means, to educate about the logo, and to make them understand that this is a purchase that is definitely one that they can feel assured by, because it is federally regulated, annually inspected, and is essentially the best claim that you could get out there when it comes to sustainability, because you know exactly what your food is in your food products, the way it's produced, and of course can feel good about that because of so many other confusing claims on the market. And you can see that when we did this study a year and a half ago, 23% of Canadians were buying more organic than the year before. So we're excited to be able to retest and see where things are at. Of course, we do understand that inflation is affecting things, and we have had supply chain challenges for the last several years with COVID, etc. So I think it's going to be pretty crucial that we run these numbers again come the next few months and release that data out to you in January. Just to highlight that global trade, of course, is really important. On an annual basis, the Canada Organic Trade Association, we provide the data that we are providing to you today, rounded up, and it goes into a global publication so we can figure out what is our global stance and where are we in compare to other regions and our trading competitors, in fact. And that publication is put together by the Swiss Research Institute in Switzerland called FIBEL. And it's a collaboration with the IFOAM Organics International, which is the International Federation of Organic Agricultural Movement. And this was the latest publication. So the data that we've rounded up for them comes out in February of every year. So right now we're actually starting to compile the data for them as we're presenting it to you. So that will come out in their new free online publication. So, make sure that you check back with us or follow our social media handles, because we will be announcing when the 2024 global publication becomes available. So from that publication, we can see that we are a global leader in organic, and particularly when it comes to exports. We are the 4th largest producer of pulses. We are the 6th largest producer of cereals, the 9th largest producer of oil seeds. And just a little quick fact is that we're producing 99% of the world's organic cranberries. So it is excellent that we have this global publication and we can rely on the information from some of our trading partners. Just from the European Union and the US data that we're able to pull from for that global publication, we can see that Canada exports over 180,000 metric tons annually. Unfortunately, we cannot get a dollar value associated from those two databases from the European Union or the United States. And so, unfortunately, we are left with the only source of financial data is the harmonized sales tax codes that Stats Canada maintains. So this is all that we have available. We know that this number is grossly underrepresented. We only have codes on 14 different product categories, of which it's only raw commodities. So none of the value-added products are included, and only 14 of raw commodities are included. But what it does show is year over year how things are going. You can see that we took a real dip in 2021 in regards to exports. We definitely heard of so many supply chain challenges and shipping issues that definitely impacted everything. But you can see that now in 2022, we have raised up again another 32%. We are not back to where we were in 2020 in regards to exports, but we have surpassed the 2019 levels. So it is good and an excellent trajectory to be able to monitor things continuing up, but you'll see as we go on that import and export data is the one major hugely weakness that we have in our system here in Canada, and it is something that we continue to advocate for better data. On the import side of things, I've got the same information from the harmonized sales code data. And you can see that year over year, even during COVID, that imports were increasing in Canada. So I think that this tells a tale that it was a difficult time for exporters throughout the COVID years. It's starting to a little bit level back out. But the one thing, again, that we have been able to get is what is our import position out of the FIBL World of Organic Agriculture document. And we are the 20th largest importer globally. So it's great to get these global insights because some of the data that we have domestically is not adequate. Moving on to organic acreage, you can see that in our we're not going to give you the organic acreage data yet, but just to compare where we were last year, Canada, we have about 2.4% last year when we ran the numbers, compared to our global competitors. So we have more farmland available as organically certified in Canada, and on a global average, we are above average. But I'm going to leave that as a cliffhanger because at the end, you'll see I'm going to just delve into where we are with operations right now. And we're going to do a full webinar in October in regards to where we're at currently with organic acreage, increasing or decreasing. So as you can see, we continue to have organic operators. We're over 7,000 now in 2022. And you can see, of course, majority of those are growers, followed by manufacturers, processors. And for the first year, we've been able to get some good data in regards to how many operators are working in the aquaculture sphere. So livestock, of course, is around 10%. And it's fun to kind of delve into where have we come from? You can see that there's actually been a bit of a decrease happening in 2022 overall. So of all those categories that I just mentioned, we have seen a 3.7% decrease overall since 2016. Of course, we've seen a 40% growth rate, but this is the first year that we've seen an overall decline in regards to operators or certified entities actually not continuing on with their organic certification. I just didn't want to surprise people with these numbers, so I'm actually spelling out there's 296 operators that left the system in 2022. And let's break it down now. So where was the decline? You can see that of the 200 and some that I just mentioned, for growers, that means a loss of 33 farms across the country. So we do have 6,069 growers in 2022. It has definitely increased since 2016, but there's a slight decrease of 0.54% in 2022. For processors, we did have an increase. So we had an 8% increase since last year, and it is positive to see that we're continuing to grow. You can see there was a big decline in 2018. I can't speak to what happened there, but these are the numbers, and it's nice to see that we're kind of getting to a higher level again. With organic livestock, we've got around 777 operators. We have had an increase of 15% since 2016, But we saw a decrease in livestock operators last year and again this year. So that represents 7 livestock farms ceasing organic certification, and that's a 0.89 decrease since last year. And when it comes to organic aquaculture, we have now 47 operators in 2022, and that's a 2% increase since 2021, which was the first year that we were able to get some data out of the organic certification bodies, since aquaculture is a newly regulated regime in Canada. This would include everything from fish operations to aquaculture products such as seaweed and spirulina, etc. And if we want to look at this from a category perspective, you can see that we've had over time, since 2016 to 2022, there has been growth overall since 2016. And we broke it down into how many are in each one of the categories, just to give you a good snapshot. Then let's look at where the producers are. This is actually all the operators, not just farmers. This is processors, this is farmers, this is aquaculture and livestock operations. And you can see Quebec continues to be the largest territory with 44% of all of the operators in Canada. And that, of course, is followed by Ontario at 9%. And then we've got Saskatchewan and BC are fairly close together at 12 and 11% respectively, as well as Alberta following, then Manitoba and Atlantic. And I get a kick out of watching what's going on. I remember when a couple of years ago, we had 3 in the Yukon, and now we're up to 17 across the 2 territories. So there is slight growth there as well. I won't go into all the numbers here, but it is good for everybody to see where is the most in each region and how does that breakdown play out. And so if you have any questions after the fact, you're welcome to let us know about questions that you might have. And of course, let's just break it down. How many were new in between 2016 and 2022, just to kind of highlight, there was a big jump in Quebec, you can see, of producers, processors, and livestock operators from 2016 to 2022. And of course, as we've looked at today, there's been a slight decline in certain regions. And so this is where we are not ready yet to give you the acreage data. I can tell you from our initial stance that it seems like we're actually at an increase in acreage. Last year, there was a decrease in acreage, and it went down 20% last year. We're actually going to be higher than last year's numbers. So it's good to see that the acreage numbers have gone back up, but we're delving into all the data right now in our analysis. And so we're going to be really providing a lot more detailed data to you in the next webinar. That will be held on Friday, October 20th from 2 p.m. Eastern Time. It will be free for CODA members, but it'll be $100 for any general public. So tune back in. We're going to have that live on our Eventbrite page. So you can follow Canada Organic Trade Association on our Eventbrite page, and you can follow it and register at your leisure. Also, for today's details that we're releasing, you can see that we've got all the broken down details, so you don't have to take rapid notes here. You can go onto our Shopify site and you can download our basic information that we've got available for you there, if you would like that as a reference point, or if you would also need any assistance, of course, on a sales presentation or working with your clients on this kind of available data. And I have to just mention, of course, because we're in the middle of doing quite a big advocacy plan right now, the Canada Organic Trade Association, along with the Canadian Organic Growers and the Organic Federation of Canada, have formed an alliance called the Canadian Organic Alliance. And through this alliance, we are working on an organic action plan for Canada. We did our first consultation webinar on August 22nd. And this is a live proposal that we've got and you will be able to check out our webpage and watch the whole webinar that we did in order to get acquainted with it. But essentially, we're seeing organic maturing right now. And I think it is time that we have a national benchmark and framework to work with our federal and provincial governments with. So we've seen that the European Union, they've set benchmark targets of having all 25% of all farmland in the European Union to be certified organic by 2030. And so I think to remain competitive and to make sure that we are acting on some of the actions of the sustainable agriculture strategy that the federal government is in the process of putting together, we need to align and set some benchmark targets and really delve into what do we need in order for producers and manufacturers and consumers to be able to have the proper environment to help support organic continue to grow. These are just a few of the key elements of the Organic Action Plan. And you will note, of course, that data is line E. Of course, it's important for any business to be able to have data so that we can plan for our businesses and really understand the implications of the trade agreements that are signed with our trading partners. But the major two priorities that we have determined is that we need to have more production supports in Canada. You can see in today's presentations, we have had a decline with some certified operators giving up their certification. And the other piece is that we need market support. So we need to have a balanced approach between supply and demand, essentially. So I think this is where we need your feedback, we need your perspective on things. So this is the timeline that we have in place. Currently, we have a survey that we are getting your perspective from all industry players, so please participate. And that deadline for the survey is October 13th. We understand it's farming season right now, so of course we value everybody's perspective. We'd like to be able to get your feedback in, whether it's through the survey or through speaking to your provincial association or one of your national associations. And what we'll be doing with this data, once we get all the feedback in, is to revise the Organic Action Plan, including what we feel would be positive targets and the rationale for each one of the plans. That could be a policy recommendation, could be a program recommendation, and could have budgetary implications as we move forward. Then what we'll be doing is taking this information forward on an annual basis. CODA holds our Organic Summit in Ottawa, and it is a one-day conference. We'll be focusing on the whole Organic Action Plan. And in the evening of November 20th, we have our parliamentary reception. And the next day, we actually go to the Hill and we meet with MPs and senators to advocate on behalf of the sector and bring forward the Organic Action Plan, and then really to put the whole plan in place. So we've started this work a year ago, and we very much value your feedback. So you can see at the bottom of the screen, we have the website where you can learn more about that. You can see the previous webinar, you can see the slides, and the survey link. So please do participate. And so we really want to thank you for participating in today's webinar and hearing a little bit more about where the marketplace is at. Hopefully you've received some insightful data, and there will be a lot more of that in the year to come as we really delve into the next organic market report. We'll be delivering the series of different webinars, including how to trade with different markets, and of course, the regular amount of work that we do on sort of matchmaking between buyers and sellers. So everybody, you please have a great organic week, starting with today. And we will look forward to all of your online activity and getting any feedback. Of course, if you have any questions, you can always reach out to us at info@organic-week. And we wish you a very happy 15th annual Organic Week. All the best.